So I'm just going to focus in the next few minutes on one school of thought on sustainable cities and sustainable urban living, and that is new urbanism. It evolved really in the last 2 decades in North America and Europe, but again it sort of highlights some of the aspects of sustainable living, sustainable urban living that have been underpinning much of the literature and research over the last 2 decades. The Congress for New Urbanism in North America is set up principally to promote forms of sustainable but also traditional urban design, and again we can see some of the principles they outline match very closely with some of the wider principles of sustainable city design. So again, the new urbanists would argue that sense of place, community building, really lies at the core of creating a socially sustainable neighbourhood. In terms of planning design, they look at interconnected street grid networks, but principally create cities and neighbourhoods in which the streets are livable. They arrange in compact, walkable blocks or areas to encourage that form of sustainable movement and to encourage walkable spaces. The new urbanist movements will argue that housing choices should be varied to encourage a social mix of people within an area, to go away from what Engels looked at as the separate palaces of the rich and the slums of the poor, argue that a social mix, an economic mix, is really one of the key aspects of creating a livable neighbourhood. New urbanists also say that modern design should be of high quality. It should last beyond 25 years. So the notion of you're building for the next century, not for the next 25-year profit cycle. And again, if you're a geographer, you'll be focusing on place and space. And again, the new urbanists argue that when you're designing a town, it should be at a scale that really allows the easy access to educational, social and commercial facilities that can be walked, that are walkable, where you can use public transport and you're not relying on the car. And finally, there's a notion that urban areas to be designed with a human scale in mind, that increasing public spaces, the more shared spaces that people can mix and integrate, really will create a more socially aware and socially sustainable society.